Live from Lincoln and broadcasting across the state of Nebraska, it's the Average Joe Sports Show. This is the place for Husker sports with the biggest names, the best interviews, and all the inside scoops.
I got a front row seat with a big tub of buttered popcorn and a greasy half-live chicken leg.
Now, here are your hosts, Chris Schmidt and Elijah Herbel.
Weekend editions here, full strength. Good to be with you on a Saturday morning with the Average Joe Sports Show. Be sure to check out and subscribe to the Average Joe Sports Show YouTube channel 7 days a week. Mr. Mark Kraynak, his little handle says, been knowing about Emmett. Pride of Fairbury is Bill Doleman, where your business can go under Bill Doleman's name, at Bill Doleman on Twitter. Pride of Fairbury, Elijah Herbel in studio, rocking and rolling at Herbal Essence. Find and follow Elijah, Chris Schmidt at Schmidt_radio. Fellas, it's a bye week and sounds good at the time, but I kind of want to watch some Nebraska football today. I will find other ways to entertain myself.
Nebraska hoops.
Yeah, they are up in Sioux Falls, man, against Oklahoma. Justice Rhodey on assignment for the Average Joe Sports Show after he got his picture, I should say, after Emmett got his picture with Justice this week. Justice then goes from studio time to Sioux Falls time to cover the Nebraska-Oklahoma game on the wings of his trip to L.A. So
is he doing play-by-play on that for the campus station or what?
Yeah, I don't think so,
What's
Bill.
he doing there?
He's getting extra credit, Bill. He's getting extra credit.
I got to look to see who's calling that game today.
Yeah, Bill schedules it for the Mighty 90 KRNU.
Let it be known, Justice, our basketball aficionado.
Yes,
they're traveling around. We always try to make it to a Husker road game in football season. He's made it to one for football. Now he's on the road. He's a neutral site for basketball. This is his Kansas City trip.
Justice is unbeaten.
By the way, speaking of 90.3, all of us have graced the halls at some point. Well, the former halls. Graced
and some have graced the current halls. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So is the FM tower still on top of Old Father?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we got to do to increase? I feel like it's our duty, our civic duty.
You were asking this 30 years ago.
Yeah, I know. To do a fund drive, and to help Bill out, to help all of the kids, all the young whippersnappers. Because I think we could probably do that. I think we could probably start a little fund drive, and we can boost that up. What do we think? Who's in?
I'm sure that the folks at the College of Journalism and Mass Communications would take whatever donations alumni would like to provide.
What if we want to specify it?
Let it be known the Average Joes are also taking donations. If you'd rather,
yes, we are.
We're right here too. If you want the FM tower for 93 KRNU, cool. That's all and good. But if you just want to send it directly our way, we'll make sure it gets to the right place.
You just ruined the strategy. I was trying to come out as though we were just like this benevolent, like amazing, for the kids kind of thing. That was going to be our in, and then we hit them with the hard sale. But
the current weekend tower for the Average Joe Sports Show is on top of Gertie's doghouse. So we are YouTubing, but be ready for
that doghouse. Hopefully has reinforcements, Chris. What is? Did you call in some help there? I mean, that thing.
Oh yeah. Well, what? Yeah. You. For sure,
Gertie needs a straitjacket.
No,
can't escape with the worm.
She's getting an air tag for Christmas. So no, but we took, and big shout out to Seth and Greg from Lazari's. We took Animal Control. My wife and I took some pizzas to Animal Control yesterday. 3 larges, because they're the ones who were able to get Gertie back in custody from the wild. So, yeah,
okay, my favorite part of
the
that
story.
I don't know how much you've talked about it during the week, but on the weekends, anyways, my favorite part of that whole saga was the video of Gertie just chilling with a coyote. What is happening? What is that? Like, within feet of each other, they were just hanging out.
And she was limping around. That was in the backyard of Carricker's house.
Okay, so
Way the
How did
hell
that-
out on an
did-
acreage far
did they,
from
like-
the Schmidt house.
how long did they hang out? Were they just like hanging out?
Thankfully,
for the day? Like, oh.
thankfully, not long enough, because if there's one coyote, there's 20, and she was limping along. So she got the F out of Dodge and found her way to another golf course.
I think that coyote just wanted to get some, though. Really,
I was
You know,
thinking,
like, hey, I ain't seen one like you. You know,
Gertie's not a skank, okay?
yeah. Well,
Might be an escape artist, but not
as
that.
Yeah, she's not a
as you know.
skank.
she's sneaking out. I mean, what do you tell?
hey,
What do you
sometimes
think
you
that's
gotta do
for?
what you gotta do for some food, you know.
Wow.
I mean,
We
And
should
you
have been
know-
looking. We should have been looking at truck stops all along, man.
Times
listen,
are tough. You gotta do what you gotta do, you know.
hey, listen, and coyotes, you know, in the Northeast, they coyotes mated with red wolves and created an entirely new species called a coy wolf. So they are not selective. They are not selective at all. They're like, whatever.
Hmm.
If the shoe fits.
O Street
know,
at midnight.
like-
Okay. Yes. Get it.
Yeah.
Football thoughts, fellas, as we move forward. Some things to dive into. Bill and Elijah and I touched on it yesterday. Kraynak, I want your Nebraska football portal MVP so far this season for Nebraska. We'll talk a little bit here about expectations. 2 weeks left. Expectations are what? Is it going to be, you know what, I can settle as a Nebraska fan with 8? You think 9's doable, but understanding difficult. Fight like hell, but if they end up at 7, so be it. We can kind of get into that. What's left for Emmett to do? I love the Heisman push. I think he's an incredible back and an incredible story. You know, he is going to have to be the bus driver these next 2 games against extremely difficult defenses. What's that outlook look like? And also on the other side of it, Nebraska's run defense. Do we call up members of the 85 Bears and just go Bear defense if you're a Nebraska fan the next 2 weeks against the 2 strengths of the offense? And a little bit of Big Ten talk right now as it pertains to the college football playoff, where things stand. So we'll get our shout outs going. We'll get you involved, and always appreciate you being in the streamer on Twitter. Follow AJ Sports Radio, AJ Sports Pod. But Kraynak, where you at, man? What's the portal MVP right now? Who's top of the list for you? You've got a ton of candidates. Nebraska's done very well this year with their portal pieces. And we'll for sure get into some quarterback talk as well, because that's been dominant this week after TJ's performance against UCLA.
You gotta admit, it's sometimes a little tough to keep up and remember just off the top of your head, like, okay, who's portal and who's been here for a minute, because it's such a transient time in college football. But the guy that immediately jumped to my head is Andrew Marshall, only because I think like we have not really talked about him, and that's probably a good thing because he has handled his business. Right. And are we talking about this particular offseason, like this last offseason's portal edition?
Yes.
Or do we go back a year and say Sierra Wright? Right.
No, we're talking 2025.
Okay. 2025. I think you got 2 candidates. Well, God, 3. I think you got 3. I think you got, it's between Marshall. Well, 4.
That's what I'm saying.
No, there's a few. It's between Marshall, Isaiah Hunter, Rocco Spindler. Was it Deshaun
Dane
McCullough?
Key, McCullough, Pritchett. I mean,
Kevin
You
Gallic,
missed it.
long snapper.
There you go. That's the main one right there.
I'm personally my take yesterday, and it hasn't changed. Is Andrew Marshall is your number 1 portal edition? Personally, most valuable player.
and I go Hunter because of the plays he's made. He's kind of ascended to wide receiver 1, and he's been tremendous. And Key's been phenomenal too. But I really like what Hunter's brought to the offense. I'm probably wrong, though. I think it is Marshall. And what kind of spurred this MVP talk yesterday was Brandon Vogel's incredible column on portal hits with Counter Read. We welcome in Brandon Vogel from Counter Read, counterread.com. Vogues, you ready for a bye weekend of football, man? How are you?
I'm doing well. I am ready for a bye weekend of football. Not the yeah, not the ideal slate, I would say. If
Yeah.
Nebraska's not playing, and it's just like, well, great, I can watch whatever. But I'm never going to complain about a college football Saturday. So
No. Brandon, yeah, since you sparked the topic, we're gonna have to get your take here on the number one portal edition. I'm gonna go Andrew Marshall because we haven't talked about him a lot, and he has at least held serve in every single game, if not just shut down the guy he's covering. I mean, he's
Love his
been
physicality.
really solid as a corner, and that's been good. I mean, look, he's contributed to the pretty much the top pass defense in America. So I got to go Marshall for those reasons.
yeah, I would probably go there with Chris. I think Hunter's pretty close for me, and Waneri's not far off.
No.
I think when you consider.
We didn't even mention the 5-star one. That's...
In the spring,
Oh, he's on the list.
The 5-star, but in the spring, like it was like, I don't know, maybe this guy's he's gonna play, but is he gonna be a contributor? And he has been. I give the nod to Marshall because you mentioned one of the best pass defenses in the country. They plucked a corner from Idaho and said, we think this guy can be a starter in the Big Ten, and he has. And when you look at the pass defense, like I think Butler deserves a lot of credit for how Nebraska's playing right now, but also had some veteran guys, so that helps. But Marshall wasn't. Marshall was making a pretty big jump, so all those factors kind of give him a narrow edge for me over anybody else.
And with Waneri, I think he's been good for you this year. It feels to me like he's a year away from being a true impact guy, and that's also another conversation we had yesterday. Is this team a year away from being a playoff and national contender, which the schedule looks tough, but you have a young core. You have a lot of these transfer portal hits who are coming back for another season, potentially next year. At least they have another season of eligibility left. And with another good year in the portal, you wonder, is next year the playoff or bust type season?
Yeah, I mean, I thought this year was a year where Nebraska had like that top potential. Like if they just maximized it, instead of losing by 3 to Michigan, you beat them by 3. Instead of losing by 3 to USC, you beat them by 3 or 4. Then you're there, and it would have felt to me like they were a little bit ahead of schedule. So I agree with you, Elijah. I think, although it's hard because you can look at all these rosters and say, okay, well, look, they bring a lot back. They don't bring a bunch back, but it's such a jumbled mess more than that. Now with the portal, like who knows, a lot of the defections Nebraska had a year ago, I didn't expect to see. But barring that, yeah, I think they're pretty well set up for 2026.
I love the schedule for Nebraska, the opportunity. And I look at what you're going to have at quarterback, right? It could be great. That could be good. That could be terrible. I mean, with the way the portal and funding and all that goes. But you're going to need some guys to step up with what you lose on the interior. I know we're fast forwarding here, but there is a playoff kind of payoff expectation because, guys, I think if you can go, and we'll get into this too. I mean, there's a ton of candidates out there, some nose guard candidates Nebraska's in on from the JUCO ranks, right? Because you want to run stuffer for sure to help shore up the defense. Your back end is going to be young defensively. You need to get a little more athletic at linebacker. So there are pieces they need to add and hit on for sure. But I like the core of defensive linemen they have. When you look at Davis, Waneri, Van Poppel, and Gabe Moore, assuming they all stick, right? We're all basing this on assumptions here with the way the roster can flip around. You're going to sell Pritchett on coming back a year. Can your the prime rib you've had in the smoker hit, i.e. some of these, 3, 4, 5, well, not 5, but 4-star offensive linemen that have been in the pipeline there for 3 years, step forward and emerge. You still have Evans at center. Your quarterback situation, you theoretically you'll have Hunter and Barney again. You got to find a running back. So that's a lot on the list to supplement or maintain with. But the schedule will present an opportunity for Nebraska to be a 9-3 contender or better. But that's the mark they're going to have to hit, Vogues, is you got Ohio State, you have Indiana coming to town, you have Washington coming to town. Who else? You're at Illinois, you're at Iowa,
North Dakota.
You're at Oregon. The non-conference is garbage.
Already at Rutgers. At least, aside from Oregon, you get your tough games at home next year.
Well, you're at Iowa to finish.
Well, we'll see what Iowa's like next year. Does Kirk Ferentz come back for another season? I think probably yes, but that was the discussion point before the year.
Sure. I think the opportunity is there, but you need to keep what you've been growing, so to speak, at a better level than they were this year. And then you need to find more marshals out there for the spots you need to fix.
By the way, speaking of Kirk Ferentz, do you think he would probably pull it'd work out timing wise really well if he was going to retire? Don't you announce that if you're Iowa and Kirk Ferentz Nebraska week, right? Kind of like T.O. did pre-bowl game, to get the guys to kind of play even more out of their minds against Tennessee, which they did. I could see him announcing it going into the last game of the regular season and then having Iowa come out. I mean, if I was him, I would do it.
I don't think he's ready to be done. I think he wants a legit run like all coaches do. I mean, they were in contention this year. They were right there against Oregon. They're at SC today. I think he's got a couple of years left.
Well, and he did a great sit down with Scott Dochterman before the season started, where Scott kind of asked him, "Hey, it's been talked about. Maybe this is it for you, adapting to the portal in the NIL era. How's it going?" And he essentially was like, "Yeah, an old dog can learn new tricks." At first I struggled with the portal in the NIL era, but I've been enjoying coming to work every single day and trying to figure out how college football coaching works. And hey, it's the classic coaching line. It's up to my wife. I don't think she's ready to have me home all the time just yet. So,
ha 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 ha. Yeah. Yeah. I listen. It's kind of funny how we can all get in the off seasons leading into any given year, including the take like new rule. We can no longer just go into your year and say, "Oh well, Iowa's going to struggle. They're bad. They're the same
it's wishful thinking
team." Exactly. They're the same damn team every year. Like, period. They are the exact same team every year. And if you can mix in a playmaker or two, if you can mix in a punt returner, somebody who can catch, 40 balls, somebody that's going to, they're going to have NFL caliber tight ends. They're going to have ridiculous physical linebacker play. They're going to have great defense. They're going to have great like every year. Like, so just new rule. We're not going to play that game going into next year of like, oh, Iowa's going to struggle this year. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're 9-3. They're 9-3 unless otherwise noted.
Let it be known, I did not play that game last year. I thought Iowa was going to be a playoff contender this year. I'm going to take my victory lap, but Bill.
Yeah.
So we're talking about Iowa football 2026 today on the Average Joe Sports Show.
Exactly.
We'll take your calls.
Take a drink.
Exactly.
Look, hey, Dad's been better since the AD told him to get rid of his son. So they have done better in that regard. Now that he's got Junior out of the office, maybe he does stick around another couple of years and comes back. But anyway,
back to the question though, that playoff payoff. I mean, that's kind of everyone's expectations, Vogues, right? I mean, this year seemed a little early for a lot of us, and they'd be in the conversation had they beat USC. But they're supposed to be better and more built for it in year 4. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, what's USC ranked right now? I don't recall off the top of my head.
20th.
I mean, that's where Nebraska would be, and that's what you'd be talking about. A playoff ranked team that has 2 games left and a chance to at least play itself into the brink of consideration. So, I mean, they're kind of right there now. So I think that's a good thing. You just look at it's that Minnesota game. It's like the one that you just like doesn't make sense. Like, you got beat by Michigan, clearly. You got beat by USC in a tightly contested game. It's that Minnesota loss. If you erase that one, things are different. But yeah, and when you mentioned the schedule for next year, it's tough, or at least it looks tough. That's another thing that used to be able to look at that in the offseason and be like, oh yeah, I've got a pretty good gauge on this, and now it's a little bit different. But it's the sort of thing where if Nebraska could get some of those wins early, it gives you a chance to maybe be at 9-3 and still be in contention. I mean, that's kind of where Oklahoma looks like it's trending right now. Like, we'll see what happens against Alabama today. But they're a team that has played a schedule that's so difficult that you start to consider a 3-loss team.
For 2026, we're what? It's at Oregon, home with Ohio State. Is that right?
Home with Indiana.
Home with Indiana.
Home with Washington.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, don't forget home against Bowling Green, home against Ohio. Get some other big games.
They're honoring Frank
North
Solich
Dakota.
that day, right? They're honoring Frank Solich that day. They
better be, yes.
Let me just take you through your home slate in the Big Ten next year: Indiana, Maryland, Ohio State, Washington. Your road slate: Illinois, Iowa, Michigan State, Oregon, Rutgers.
Okay, that's going to be the schedule they have every year. There's going to be a mix of some big name helmet teams, and that's just life in the Big Ten, guys. Every year we're going to talk about, wow, they got Michigan coming in this year, and then they got to go to USC and Ohio State. You're going to get 3 or 4, big name brands that are perceived to be pretty good. I know Schmidt was high on Washington at the beginning of the season. I wouldn't mind if Washington was on Nebraska's schedule this year. That's certainly a beatable team. USC was beatable. Nebraska just didn't get it done. Michigan State, that score, is a lot closer than what the game was on the field. Nebraska got the Hail Mary, but Michigan was far better than Nebraska. But every schedule is going to look like that. And I think every non-conference schedule, as we all know with the Tennessee thing, every non-conference schedule for Nebraska is probably going to look pretty similar going forward. You're going to go, I got to get 2 of these games to get the season ticket package so I can go to this Ohio State home game. I've got to suffer through some directional hyphenated 2 of them so I can get the Oregon home game. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be from here on out.
Well, let me ask Brandon the question here, because if we're talking about playoff, does the schedule really even matter? I know, yes, it does, but also if you want to be a playoff team, you have to go out there and beat similar caliber teams. You have to go out and beat playoff opposition. So is it premature to say, man, tough schedule, we can't be talking about a playoff? Because all the playoff teams, all 12 of them, have quality wins against teams that are either top 25 or other playoff opposition.
Yeah. I mean, that becomes one of those things. A strong win, preferably 2, I think is going to be a thing that you have to have. But well, it'll be interesting to see what we end up with a second year of rankings, especially with this year, with where things are trending. Like last year felt kind of cut and dry comparatively. I know the SEC didn't feel that way, but this year it doesn't feel that way at all. So I still think it's better. And this is unfortunate because until we see teams getting punished for playing nobody in non-conference play, all of the incentive is to do that. Like, it's better to avoid losses than to seek out marquee wins based on what we've seen so far. So maybe that changes over time, but it'll be like a delayed effect because teams already have their schedules. So
they're going to have to start bringing in Scotty McCreery for every non-conference game to try and fill the stadium. Well, and that's the way it's going to be. Concert after home games in the non-conference, because they're going to be lower level Division I teams. That's just the way it's going to be, because you got to try to win every game in the Big Ten. Well, and you're not going to.
To Brandon's point here, I know we've talked probably too much about Iowa on one particular show, but think about how different Iowa's season feels right now if they would have played and beat Northern Iowa as opposed to playing Iowa State. And I know they play Iowa State every single year, but if they had said, you know what, we just want to sweep our non-con and get into Big Ten play, they're probably still on the edge of a playoff right now if they had gone and beat Northern Iowa as opposed to losing to Iowa State.
Well, it also helps if Iowa State is 8-4, 9-3 themselves versus teetering on 7-5. Just like teams aren't getting any credit for beating Penn State this year. It doesn't look as good as it should for what Oregon did when Oregon did it. Indiana's win last weekend when that team got fired up to play and played like a ranked team. It just depends on what team you get every Saturday. That goes for your home and away for sure. But that's the other part of this. Texas is an interesting test case because of, they went out there or say they lose one more, but they're the 9-3 discussion mark to oust out that fourth Big Ten team. Do you take an extra SEC team with a 9-3 record? They went and played Ohio State. Their schedule's their schedule in the SEC. They did lose to Florida. That's a bad loss.
Yeah.
But other than that, they've also won a couple of OT games, and they could take out A&M. If that's their win, if they lose by a field goal today to Georgia, and I'm not advocating for Bevo to get in. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of voices pushing for that, Vogues. And that'll flip around eventually. That'll be a Big Ten discussion point because right now, unless SC wins out, that's a hard talking point right now for the Big Ten for that number 14. I mean, look at Oregon. They're sitting at that 8, 9, 10 seed, probably 8, 9, 10, somewhere there to get in and maybe on the road to start the playoff.
Yeah. Or Michigan beats Ohio State. Then Ohio State.
Yeah, that's the other.
I'm here for that. Armageddon.
Meltdown.
I've been waiting that all year.
I'm forgetting who Michigan has. They've got.
They're at Northwestern today. That's going to be a little scary for them.
Oh yeah, Wrigley Field, and then I think they've got a relatively should be solid favorite, and then they play Ohio State, which it's hard to imagine with what Ohio State has done this year that would be a loss, but it was probably harder to imagine a year ago. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's USC wins out or Michigan does probably.
Let's say a little disturbing trend, y'all, that I've been noticing on the in the stream here with our commenters, which we love and appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Dylan being called Tubby Raiola? That like regularly. It's not just by one person. It's like 2 or 3. It's like taking hold. They're going Tubby Raiola is what they're calling him. I thought he slimmed down a little bit. He did a boxing regimen, and then he's wearing like flak jacket stuff, right? Like I don't think he's not really.
I routinely wear a flak jacket just out and about because they're comfortable.
He's not a refrigerator. Like the guy's he's wearing stuff underneath. He's slimmed down considerably.
He's not Iowa's quarterback of 3 years ago, biscuits and gravy, whatever that guy's name was.
Captain in the stream is just going Tubby. I mean, he's just going with it. It's a little disturbing. Disturbing comments.
The thing with Dylan, because I know there's going to be talk over the upcoming next 3 weeks about a potential offseason quarterback battle. I liked what I saw in one game from TJ Lateef, small sample size. If he goes out and does what he did against UCLA, against Penn State, against Iowa, I think things get really interesting in the offseason. There's still 2 games left to go. But for Dylan's point, his offseason regimen last year has slimmed down a little bit. This offseason just feels like get some pocket presence. I'm not sure how you train that. I'm not a quarterback's coach, but that seems to be the place of his game where he's most uncomfortable. And if I compare him to TJ feels a little comfortable getting outside the pocket and throwing on the run. I'm not sure how or if you can work that in an offseason, but a little bit of pocket mobility and willingness to get outside the pocket and throw on the run. And I feel like it's a different Dylan Raiola, and a lot of the issues of his game this year have gone away if you can clean up the pocket mobility side of things.
Yeah, pocket mobility and just a little casual, right? Just a little more decisive. It feels like his default when he doesn't see anybody open is hold it.
Mm-hmm.
Versus others who, when they don't see anything open, they throw it away or
run it,
take off. Right? His is just kind of like, no, keep waiting, boom.
Well, and let it be known, this is not just an improvement that needs to be made for Nebraska football to improve next year. It's what he needs in order to go be an NFL quarterback. There's never been a couple of NFL coaches have said this. There's never been an NFL quarterback who took a lot of sacks in college that didn't take a lot of sacks in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest glaring weakness in his game right now. I mean, he's got great accuracy, really good touch. The deep ball needs a little bit of improvement, but the biggest thing that NFL evaluators are going to circle and say we can't have that is the number of sacks that he takes. Yeah. And I know people out there that sit there and say, "Oh, that's the offensive line's fault." It's really not. The pressures and hurries, that's on the offensive line. Getting sacked as much as he does, that's on the quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, and that's something that Nebraska fans are intrigued about with this offense moving forward. If you got a guy that can pull it and run it and pick up some yards, threaten the defense with their legs, Vogues. I mean, again, the small sample size case study showed an offense that looked really in rhythm and a defense, UCLA's defense, that got gashed on the ground and everything, man. The playbook was open, throwing it, running it. It looked really good.
So do we have like a subsect of Average Joe Sports Show listeners who are the Tubbies and the Teefies, like the Swifties? Is that where we're going,
Yes.
for the next year and a half or so?
Hey, listen, Nebraska. So
I do not.
Story
I don't want to dive into the ratio because the ratio is not good.
Now, if you listen, if you believe Matt Rule, he is now declaring ever since he re-upped and got an additional commitment, it appears, for NIL spending. He seems to be pretty confident that he can assemble the roster that he wants to. Will that include? I think conventional wisdom before would be like, oh, you got two quarterbacks, one of them's gone, right? One of them is absolutely leaving, and that's it. Is with the new financial situation that Rule seems to be in, is it possible that both come back? It kind of feels like that's a major question, because if you do bring both back, are we in for a quarterback controversy? And if we're in for a quarterback controversy, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Depends on if that quarterback controversy is in the locker room.
Yeah,
that's where it's the most dangerous.
Important.
People can come on here and every other message boards that there is, and you can have your Tubbies and your Teefies all over the place. But if there's a quarterback controversy in Matt Rule's locker room, and whether that's how they play on the field, how they go about their business, whatever the case might be, we all hear some whispers. That's going to be the real issue. Are there two factions, two camps within the Nebraska locker room? And go back 30 years when there was Brooke and Tommy. That's really the only one that I can remember, of two high-level quarterbacks. There was, Bobby Newcomb and Eric Crouch, Van Brownson and Jerry Taggy,
Sam Keller, Joey Gans a little.
Yeah, but Brooke and Tommy, those were two guys that both could have led those teams to national championships. Tommy was a better college quarterback. Brooke certainly, I think we all know, would have been a very good NFL player. But I don't know if Nebraska is going to have that controversy or not. But where they need to be concerned about it is how well they handle it in the locker room.
Vogues, some thoughts on moving forward here when we talk about expectations. Let's talk Penn State, Iowa here. What's likely for this football team?
I think it's likely that they probably split those two games, and I think that would be a pretty fair result. I'm guessing Penn State might be a slight favorite in that game at home, and then that Nebraska-Iowa game. Nebraska might be a slight underdog there too, but it would be close. They're both in toss-up territory. So I'm pretty interested today, solely to try and get a read on where Penn State might be going into next week, to watch that Penn State-Michigan State game, because otherwise I wouldn't touch it. But for that reason, I think it was on BTN, they mentioned neither of those teams has ever started 0-7 in Big Ten history. And granted, Penn State's goes back to the 90s.
Something's got to give.
Something will give. And Penn State's already fired its coach. So good luck out there. Good luck out there, Jonathan Smith. seems like that thing's winding down, right?
It does. Do they have the money though to move on? I mean, don't you go get Narduzzi? Isn't that the obvious take if you're Sparty?
I'll throw another one at you. Fleck.
From
I would-
Minnesota
like,
to
if-
Michigan State.
Like, if
Well,
that-
he's buried
been
in
in Michigan?
Minnesota.
He went to Michigan. He went to, he coached, he made
Western
his name
Michigan.
at Western Michigan.
Good call.
Do they have the money? I mean, when they needed to pay Mel Tucker, which is looking worse, even worse with new information this week.
Hey, congratulations to Scott Frost too on getting another win. Does Nebraska get another win?
No.
Ah.
But I do believe Scott Frost now overtakes Mel Tucker in terms of wins.
Yeah. Anyway, back to sorry, I got distracted by Michigan State. Back to, they've got a chance there to, like I said, I think split. And we'll see what happens. This Penn State game will be an interesting one.
Brandon Vogel with us here, a weekend edition of the Average Joe Sports Show. And Brandon, before we get you out, I do have to ask you, with Husker volleyball dropping a set to UCLA, is it time to panic?
No, they still haven't dropped a set on a court that also didn't have a basketball court painted on it. So I'm blaming that for the momentary distraction. But yeah, I was kind of surprised to see it. Credit to UCLA. Once Nebraska has kind of on the streak that it was on of winning consecutive sets, like it was remarkable how many of those third sets they were winning, like 25-15, 25-14. It was almost like, and these are good Big Ten teams, of course. Like they got to the point they're like, yeah, we tried, and there's just no point anymore. So 25 to 14 it is. So credit to the Bruins. That's a program that I think is pretty interesting in Big Ten context. Like it's been a while since it's been close to what its historical ceiling is. Can they get there?
Well, they looked good at moments last night, but Nebraska's just a machine. Vogues is done with me. I love it.
I think he's on brief dad duty.
No, he's on big time dad duty. I appreciate him for coming by, and we'll give him a proper send off. Brandon Vogel with us. Vogues, we know you got Papa duty going on. Brett, yeah.
Oh, he does.
Someone doesn't like the parlay pick.
I was going to. Someone's upset about a Husker bye week. They wanted a game today. That's unfortunate.
Make me some pancakes right bleeping now. Vogues.
I told him I was revoking his free Counter Read subscription, so that's the response. So if you don't want to feel that way, go subscribe.
I love
to
it.
Counter Read.
Tell me
Another
about
opening.
Counter Read. You and Aaron Sorensen, an amazing job before you go take care of that subscription.
Yep, it's our newsletter from, as you mentioned, from myself and Aaron Sorensen. Subscribers get 2 exclusive things a week. We also do a couple of extras for free subscribers to get a chance to check us out. And yeah, that's what it is. You can find that at counterread.com.
The compartmentalizing there of blocking out the noise and staying focused on that was incredible, man. Nice
It's a
work.
commitment that you can count on.
I love it. Folks, take care, buddy. He's ready to run.
Thanks, guys.
Vogel not listening to the rat poison on a Saturday morning. Maybe not the right way to put it, but
The Iron Horse is in with us. Gary Sharp. Sharpie, good to see you, bud. How are you?
What's up, you beautiful people?
And, we're up. We're doing the bye week thing and plenty of Nebraska to talk about. But you had high school ball last night. Millard South and West Side. Tell me what you
What
thought.
was that final? What was the final?
62 to 20.
62 to 21.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And West Side's good.
Yeah.
West Side's
That's
good.
I kept saying that on our broadcast is like, Millard South is exceptional. West Side's a really good football team, and they are beating them by 40. So the 20, since I've been doing the high school thing, 2014 North, the 2020 West Side team during COVID was pretty good. The 2023 West Side team was exceptional, especially defensively. But, man, the 25 Millard South team, there's no weaknesses. I mean, they are loaded everywhere. They don't look like your normal high school team. I would like to see them play. They went to Vegas and played at the beginning of the year. I'd like to see them against competition outside of Nebraska, like some of the elite competition. and see how they fare. It's just, it's the last. We have one more game of Class A football before we change the schedule, where it'll be a little bit more competitive. The other part of, people moving and being eligible and all that kind of stuff, I don't think you're going to go back and be able to change that. But they've worked hard to change the schedule so you have better games, because we just had blowouts. I mean, it's been, last night you knew it was going to be maybe a little bit lopsided, not to that extent, but I don't know. They're really, really good. They're exceptionally good. It was just strange to see half the Nebraska football team at the game last night and nobody on the field's going to Nebraska.
Yeah.
I will say the environment, it wasn't just Husker football players. Like, the community showed up. That was the type of environment that you love to see for high school football. You wish the result would have been a little bit closer, but I also wonder if the run that Millard South has been on this year is what's finally going to spur the NSAA and some of the governing bodies there to make some changes in terms of competitiveness. Not in terms of, I think, some of the other ones, like some of the thoughts of we got to limit transfers, we got to limit recruiting outs. I wonder if it just changes the NSAA's mindset and tries to match up teams more competitively based on how good they are at football as opposed to enrollment sizes.
Well, they are. They passed that during the season about more competitive scheduling. So you're not going to see, there's no reason for Brian to be playing Millard South or Benson to be playing Millard South.
There's no reason for them to be playing in Class A, really.
Yeah, they're gonna change some things. It was such a negative tone around Class A football. Now, Class B in the state and down to C1, C2 has all been juicy and been really, really good. But, the thing about Class A football is it's not only become one-sided, it's an Omaha sport. Lincoln doesn't have a shot. Guys, Lincoln doesn't have a shot. The structure and the feeder programs are so in place in Omaha that nobody's breaking through. The talent is here, and kids are playing, from 4th, 5th grade, and they keep moving up, and they're playing the same offensive system when they're in 6th grade that they're going to play when they're a senior.
And the way that Lincoln high school football has been hamstrung by the district, I don't want to dive too deeply into things, but Omaha football. Oh,
you could say it. The ball has been dropped in the last 10 to 15 years on paying attention to high school football, or actually athletics in the city of Lincoln when it comes to middle school all the way to high school.
Yeah, there's equity and there's equality, and right now there is not equality between what Lincoln high school football and high school sports has compared to Omaha. But you've done a great job making sure that all the other extracurriculars have the necessary support. It's a tough battle to fight, so I'm not throwing too many jabs here. But in terms of football specifically, those programs have been hamstrung in their ability to go compete with Omaha.
Yes, and there's some really good coaches that I feel for that they don't have the ability to be year round like we do here.
Yep. Is Millard South what they're doing now? Is that, I don't want to say sustainable? That's not what I'm looking at, because I think they can obviously sustain it. Is anybody going to start playing the same game they are in assembling their roster? Because if you go back 3-4 years, we were all thinking, can anybody catch Westside? They have such a machine there at Westside, and nobody's competitive. And now it's all of a sudden Millard South, who has gone to Westside's level and now beyond. Is their machine there, what they have in place to create this team, is that just going to continue and perpetuate?
Oh yeah, I think Westside will be preseason number 1 next year. I would imagine Millard South will be preseason number 2. They have another young quarterback that's coming right behind Jet. The thing about it is, and I went through this at Westside because of my connection to Westside, is when everybody was saying Westside bought their roster and nobody lives in the Westside district, they started showing receipts and people got a little quiet. Millard South's roster, the majority, and I would say almost nearly, 85, 90%, 95% are all Millard kids.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
so they start, that's they do have transfers, but Jesus, you look all around high school football, there are transfers everywhere. It's how you go about it. And again, I don't think it's so far down the road. I don't think the NSA can pull it back in without lawsuits and things like that. Because, if you're a parent and you have the means, it's just like, what about on the academic side?
Well, the legislature's the one in the state that's got to make it happen. They're the ones that have the ability to have school choice, which is good. You're right. From the academic standpoint, that's where you're at. You've had different champions. I'll say this for Omaha, the last 10 years, from North to Bell West to West Side to Millard South. When one school emerges as a champion, you have 2 or 3 other schools, Sharpie, that race to catch up. I mean, the competition's been good. It's not been good this year with what South has been doing to everybody, but you've had other schools, all right, go back to the drawing board, so to speak, and get better to go win a championship.
Schools that can go down to the current middle schoolers and say, yeah, Millard South's great for now, but they're loaded with talent. You're not going to play there. You can come play here at my school, buddy, and we can get things set to go here for the next 3-4 years.
And we've got NIL money.
You guys ought to go to an eighth grade football game in this city. You will see high school coaches that are standing on the sidelines. We have commitment videos of 8th graders committing to where they're going to go play football. So prepare yourself, Kraynak.
The thing is, if Lincoln wants to compete, and I don't say this tongue in cheek at all, because with the school, it's got to be a Lincoln All-Star team. It's got to be what it is. And the last Lincoln school that went and won it, I'm a Lincoln Southeast graduate. It was Lincoln Southeast 2011. That team was essentially a Lincoln All-Star team. That was not a recruited team. That was a whole bunch of buddies who kind of played together in middle school that banded together and say, hey, let's play together again. That was the team that went and won state. That's what it's going to take moving forward. That's what it is with Lincoln East baseball. That's how they go compete with the Omaha schools in baseball. And it's not anything their coaching staff is doing wrong. It's guys that understand, hey, Lincoln East is a baseball factory. And if you want to go be a Division I baseball player, you go to East. So the best talent in town goes to East. You're going to need something similar in football if football wants to go compete with the Omaha schools. All the best talent in Lincoln, all of it has to be playing for one school. And I don't see that happening.
I mean, Lincoln High School football used to be pretty dominant, and then they started building other high schools. You know, and you went from 4 high schools, you doubled your amount of high schools, and you got the talent that is spread out. I don't know. You know, I love high school football. There's a lot of really, really good people that are involved in it that are trying to find solutions, but they're giving opportunities to young men to play football. It just, I wonder, guys, the whole tone towards Millard South. If the starting quarterback, and he's good, he is really, really good, Jet Tamala. If he was a Nebraska commit, what the reaction towards Millard South would be.
Fair. But I think back to Bill's original question about whether or not Millard South is sustainable. I get the sense, Gary, and I just want to confirm if that's kind of what you're saying too, is that they're still going to be positioned well and they're going to be really good. But this particular year is probably an anomaly in terms of just the sheer volume of talent that they've stockpiled on one specific team.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
they're still going to be good, but I think this is an anomaly that's probably a generational type.
They're gonna finish scoring over 700 points this year. Last night was the most points they've given up. They'd only given up 2 touchdowns all year, and they gave up 3 to Westside.
I watched them play Millard West in week 1, and Millard West is okay. They're an okay team. They're not dominant, but they're, I think, middle of the road. I haven't seen their record, but I'm guessing 500-ish. But they're pretty solid. Dude, I don't think they even got to midfield, like in the whole game. Well, it was like 49-0 at halftime.
Coming into last night, the Millard South only allowed 6 points in the first half all year long, excluding that game against the Vegas team, which ended up being a forfeiture. Excluding that one against Nebraska opposition, 6 points in the first half all year long. Was it 14 last night, Gary, in the first half?
Yes.
So 20 points in the first half all year long going into the state title game. That's fun.
And it's going to be, people will watch, and it's great that Papio South has made the first time ever. Tim Clemenger has had a really, really good year at Papio South, but that game's going to be lopsided. I mean, that's going to be an ugly Class A final, which will be a capper on, this little run of just dominance. But I think there'll be a few teams next year. There won't be as big a gap between 1 and 2 and then 2 to 3 in Class A. And remember, next year in Class A, Elkhorn North and Bennington move up.
No.
Yeah, so it'll be.
Bennington's been a burgeoning power for a minute now.
And Bennington lost to Waverly last night, and I was just going to say, if you want a good competitive high school game and a state final, Gretna East against Waverly looks like
Yes.
it should be a very, very good game down in Class B.
Yeah. Doesn't it seem, in that the Waverly community, which was kind of like, oh, it's on the outskirts of Lincoln, and people that don't want to live in Lincoln, they live in Waverly, but they work in Lincoln, that it's been growing and growing and growing. It's crazy to think. And of late, they've run into Bennington or Scott in the semifinals, that Waverly hasn't been to the state final since 1980. Yeah. Reese has got a really good program. He got a quarterback. A lot of these teams have the quarterback, and he got a transfer from Lincoln Southwest. Tepley moved to Waverly, who's being looked at by a couple of Power 4 schools, and Waverly finds the right combination, and they're really, really good. The Class B has been fun this year, and all 4 teams in the final for A were from the Metro here in Omaha. All 4 teams in B were from the same conference, the Eastern Midlands Conference.
Sharp,
But before I go any further, I got to say one thing, because I know we have viewers that live there. The epicenter of high school football in this state, though, is Wahoo.
yeah, cousin Josh and his family up there.
Well,
Hey,
the
Kip-
Hawks were in that game last night. They smoked them.
Hey, Wahoo High has won 25 in a row. Newman is back in the final, and last year you had Connor Booth, and now you have Kip Brigham, who is from Wahoo. I mean, it is whatever happened to basketball.
Yeah.
I was growing up, and it was
The Glock
Wahoo.
brothers are sad right now.
Yeah, it was Wahoops. Now it's Wall Oblong Ball.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Wahoo took down Ashton Greenwood at 61-21. Bishop Newman beat Kearney Catholic 34-0.
Sharpie, some thoughts on Husker football bye week,
Good.
of course,
Good.
but you've got Nebraska, Penn State, Nebraska, Iowa. Expectations for these final 2 weeks. What do you think? How do you think Nebraska finishes?
I think they can't finish 7-5. I mean, there's definitely progress,
Mhm.
but if you look at the record and it's +1 compared to last year's regular season record, you go, ooh, that's progress. So I think they've got to get to at least 8. There is the path to get to 9. They're going to be DraftKings early look ahead line is 7.5 for Penn State. But remember, if Penn State stumbles today against Michigan State, they won't be bowl eligible. They have to run the table to become bowl eligible. And that game next Saturday, which may be from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. at night, who knows? That'll be their senior day. But it also is a game where there'll be a lot of emotions. Terry Smith, who Rule hired at Temple, is on one sideline. Matt Rule's coming back to Penn State for the first time. They may still be playing for bowl eligible to become bowl eligible. And they didn't lay down last week, but I'll be curious to see how they do on the road against Michigan State today. I think if you're rooting for Nebraska to walk into State College and be like, okay, all right, you're hoping for Michigan State to win. But if Penn State wins, you pay a lot of attention to that game, and then we get another learning point of where this football team is. But hey, they're 7-3. You might bump into somebody on the street, and the tone of Nebraska football is like they're 4-6. They're 7-3. They're 7-3. And a lot of us had them going 8-4, or some of us, like myself, had them going 9-3. So they're still on that path. But I think you can't preach progress if you're 7-5, because you have another month of November where you only win one football game, and once again you've lost to one of your main rivals at the end of the year on your home field.
Gary, as we do some bye week watching here, I know there's some individual games to look at, like Penn State, but I'm not sure if you realize this. Among all the Power 4 games today, there isn't a single game with a line of less than 3 points. The first bye week was great for Husker fans from a neutral point of view. This week, not so much.
Yeah, in the Big Ten, I mean, here's the Big Ten situation. It's cool. The visuals are great that Michigan and Northwestern are at Wrigley Field, but your CBS game is 3-6 versus 3-6. Penn State, Michigan State. It's just the Big Ten's getting beat in the TV ratings. The SEC just hangs out on one network, and now YouTube TV is back. The casual fan doesn't have to move off of ABC. They get 3 really good games, where the Big Ten's got to do a better job of scheduling. I like that they spread it out from Fox to CBS to NBC, but they've got to be better at getting you at least 3 quality games a weekend. And, that's not the case. And so people are, so for example, I mean, are we looking at, and Oregon won last night, and they've got USC next week, and we got USC Iowa today, which is over on the Big Ten network. I mean, are we looking at the Big Ten struggling to get 3 into the playoff?
I think as long as Oregon, depends on how Oregon loses, and SC's got to obviously win today. I mean, you need 2 more 10-2s with 2 unbeatens. All right. You need Ohio State and Indiana to stay unbeaten. They should or could.
And then they don't, they're in.
But you need Oregon. You need Oregon to be at worst 10-2, and that would rise up USC because they would win head to head against Oregon. But
if USC beats Oregon, I don't think you're getting 4 in.
I think that's the way you get 4 in. You need some colossal stumbling by the Big Ten or by the SEC.
You need USC to win today. That's
Yes.
first and foremost. And then that game next week is still probably an elimination game for USC.
Yeah,
because remember they still have the committee sits here and they don't reward teams for wins. It seems like they reward them for good losses. And how would they look at USC's resume? Because they do have a loss in Champaign, but there's also down the road, Michigan is the one that's sitting there that has a prime opportunity.
Yeah,
because they've got Ohio State, and if they beat Ohio State, then they probably write their ticket into the playoff.
That I think is the better and more likely scenario to get 4 in than both USC and Oregon.
And Michigan plays Ohio State at home, right?
Yeah, yes, they do. Michigan's probably, but SC beat Michigan head to head.
Well,
so
the thing is, Oregon's best win is Iowa, and I think a Big Ten fan might value a win in Kinnick more than your national college football.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. So if Oregon loses to USC, I don't think either of those teams are going to be getting in. Personally, I think the team to watch out for is Oregon running the table, and then Michigan beating Ohio State on the last day of the season for a chance to get in.
Just think how much Penn State has screwed this all up for the Big Ten this season. And not that they go into 25. Okay, we're going to set the schedule so that these teams can make a run. I mean, it's already established, long before they kick it off. But Penn State was supposed to be
at worst 9-3,
a national championship favorite coming off of a playoff season with one of the most established head coaches in the country. And they go 59 minutes with a win in their hands against Oregon, and their season churns, dramatically within a few moments. And you lose that, and then you lose to UCLA, and now people are going, why did they carry Jerry Neuhaus off the field just for beating Penn State? That's not that.
So they could meet his wife.
So you've got. So Penn State screwed everything up with the heartbreaking loss, and then they have this shocking loss to UCLA, and then what happened last week surprised everybody. I wonder with them emotionally how much more they can endure before they just pack it all in.
Yeah,
you said they're 7. They've got 7.5 against Nebraska, but if they lose today, how emotionally invested is Michigan State in Jonathan Schmidt at this point? I mean, who can get their team up to play today is the big key. But Penn State has screwed everything up for the Big Ten this season.
You can get into the Penn State Nebraska game for $9. I was just looking.
Wow.
You can be like second, third row.
So someone's going to pay me $9 to go. All right,
for 100. Seriously, you can be like 50-yard line, second, third row for like $100.
Yeah. So, here's another thing about if Penn State wins today, there's a lot of people in Lincoln think that that's going to be a night game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I sure hope I would rather have USC and Oregon as the night game and throw Nebraska and Penn State. It's senior day for the Nittany Lions. Throw that at 11 a.m. Honestly. Give yourself that extra. I think it's important for Nebraska to get that 11 a.m. because you turn around and you play on a Friday. If you're playing a night game, that 7-8 hours of time is actually a big deal in terms of the rest and recovery for Nebraska. If you talk to Matt Rule,
here's another thing that's effed up about the Big Ten is that every game for next weekend, you don't know the kick time.
Yep.
They put all 8 games in the 6-day window. How is that fan friendly?
Yeah,
it's not, and they're searching for riveting content, and you don't have it because one of your big dogs is 6-3 right now in Penn State. Meanwhile, the SEC, all right, Florida took a dump. So did LSU. That's all right. You've got A&M that's risen up. Texas has woke up from the dead. You've got Bama that absolutely responded after the Florida State debacle. I mean, you have all those narratives out there, and you have teams that didn't die, unlike one of your league favorites.
For the conference.
And you're penalizing a really good football team in Indiana for finding a way to go win in that environment last week. I thought that was incredible.
But they're kind of, the thing about the committee, they pay so much attention to the top 12, and it seems like the rest to 25 is a crapshoot. Like, their reasoning on the 12 is different from the reasoning outside of the 12, because we're looking at, well, what do they think of the Big Ten? They dropped Iowa one spot. I don't know. The best way to do well in the committee is to be on a bye. Oklahoma must have had a great week last week. Oklahoma moved up. They didn't even play a game. Okay.
Yeah.
And they played today in a pretty important playoff elimination game for them.
And speaking of the committee, didn't they just lose their chairman? Didn't Mac Rhodes step away from his duties as Baylor's AD and the committee chairman? And
he was allowed. So this came to light in Waco on Monday, and he still went through with his duties as the college football playoff chair on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, that's not exactly great timing and a great look for the CFP. The guy who's supposed to be steering the ship in November, a month before the playoff field is announced, and you're just giving him a reason to go, why don't we just chat GPT this for this season, and we'll come back and get 12 more people next year.
Sharpie, while we're figuring out the world's problems today with you.
No, we're not. Did you go to the meet? No, I'm saying that in a nice way. Did you go to the meet and greet with Emmett the other day? Because a lot of people did.
I did. Justice Emmett,
I saw that.
Emmett got his picture taken with Justice, so we're pretty happy about that.
Hey, good on. If you're at the basketball game on Tuesday night, he got the loudest pop, and we all of us in some way have gotten to interact with Emmett a bit. I will say this: he is. It's a great story to tell. His parents. There was a war going on in Liberia, and they escaped. They moved to Minneapolis. His mom's an ER doc. His dad works for Delta. Their son worked his way up to become the best running back in his senior class in the state of Minnesota. Ron Brown discovers him, says, "Hey, Scott, should we offer him?" Scott says, "Yeah." And he's at Nebraska, and he comes to a program that was, Nebraska at the time when Emmett showed up in Lincoln, not in a good spot. His story is great to tell, but first and foremost, man, that kid is pretty genuine. I got to tell a quick story. So, took a friend of mine and his son to the basketball game the other night, and his son, who is 8, was like, "Do you know Emmett Johnson?" I'm like, "Not really." And he goes, "Can we go meet him? I want to go meet him." And I'm like, "Oh, geez." What am I going to do? Just walk down there and go, "Hey, Emmett, this is," but there were a lot of people were getting autographs, and he was taking pictures with everybody.
He's accommodating. Yeah.
He is very accommodating, but I will also say this, and this is the way he is raised and the kind of person he is. He took time for the kids, first and foremost, the kids that wanted a picture or an autograph or something like that, or just to dap him up. Any adults, he would engage in conversation, like genuine conversation. Yeah. Like, "Hey, where are you from? How you doing? Hey, because everybody's like, Emmett, great job, man. I hope you stay," all that kind of stuff. He's a very genuine person that I'm glad to see that he has worked himself into these opportunities. And I know we appreciate it, and appreciate the next 3 games, because I think this is it. I think he'll move on to the NFL, and we should all celebrate that. And then it's Nebraska's duty to go find the next Emmett Johnson.
What did everybody miss? We did not miss it on this show. We've been on Emmett from the jump. And
signing day, Emmett Johnson, welcome to the Average Joe Show. I mean, it was great. He was excited. It was a high school kid excited to do a radio interview. It was wonderful.
I know we've had this conversation. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where why was he on the bench for the first 3 seasons of his?
Why wasn't he recruited better? I mean, what's the reason?
And why did the Husker media Illuminati, not everybody, but enough of them just be like, "Well, if you're relying on Emmett, that's no good." And you're just like, why not? Every time he's been on the field, he jukes the hell out of somebody, makes somebody miss, and runs really freaking hard. And people are like, "Well, he's not that big." I'm like, he's a 200-pound back. That's not true either.
He
doesn't have breakaway speed. He runs a freaking 4.5. What are you talking about? I've never understood why people have crapped on him as though he is not a capable, if not really good, running back, and why coaches were choosing like Gabe Ervin over him.
Yeah,
Well, no. At the beginning of Emmett's career, he was in the right spot. He was in the right spot. This is the development of Emmett developing Emmett to get to this point. And then a guy walked in through a cloud of smoke, drinking a Red Bull, and said, "Son, let's go get him." And look at his life. His life changed when Dana Holgerson discovered him and said, he's going to play a lot more. Now, to the point, guys, we kind of did because we knew what the running back room was going to be like, but I don't think we expected the extent of how much the offense is Emmett Johnson. He's 37% of their offense. Yeah. I mean, we didn't peg that. We knew that, and all of us said we knew that he would have a good year because Dana would use him as a runner and a catcher. But I don't think we knew that basically offense would be 21, go make a play. And man, when he goes, and when they say that, he goes and makes a play. I mean, the numbers he's putting up are being mentioned in the same breath as Mike Rozier's yards from scrimmage back in '83. Now they're not close. It just shows you how great a year Mike had. But it's the one thing I listen to running backs, because running backs that played at Nebraska are very hard on other running backs. We'll look at numbers and go, man, that guy's and you'll hear a former running back go, nope, don't like that guy. There are more former running backs, whether they're in the NFL, Amir, or they're retired, that will praise Emmett Johnson. And that's enough for me to go, okay, that's one of the fellas. Now, the thing will be, guys, a couple years down the road, 5-10 years down the road, is where do we put Emmett Johnson in the list of running backs? It might be he's not a top 10 running back all time at Nebraska in terms of the guys that we like, but he's having a top 10 season at Nebraska.
He's memorable. He'll always be memorable, like Amir.
My problem when you look back at Emmett Johnson's career, though, is go back to the end of Matt Rule's first year. Emmett Johnson, the final 6 games of that season, got 10-plus carries in each of those games. He averaged 4.6 yards per carry in those games. And how does the staff turn around and reward him? Well, he starts off the year 4th on the depth chart the following year. That's the problem. That at the beginning of last year, if he was rotating snaps with Dowdell, okay, but he wasn't. It was Ramir Johnson who was going in and rotating snaps. And hey, Ramir,
I liked Ramir
running back, but yes, I thought I saw more talent than a 4th-string running back that was stuck on special teams at the beginning of last year. That's kind of my what if. At the end of the day, though, he found his role. He found his spot. He's played great for Nebraska this year. My overarching question for this year is, how different does this season look if Nebraska has a second running back that can get 5 to 10 carries a game, that can come in on short yardage specifically and help you pick up a 3rd and 1 or maybe a 4th and 1 on the first drive against Michigan? That hammer running back that can get hit at the line of scrimmage and still fall forward for 2 yards. That's my what if question for this year that we'll never know. But Nebraska struggled in the red zone and in short yardage, and I wonder if a hammer running back to bring in off of the bench to get 5 to 10 carries is the answer that could have gotten some solutions for Nebraska with those issues this year.
Well, that was a game role at the running back position. Here's where Emmett Johnson, here's the boost that Emmett Johnson needs at this point in the season, and that is from Matt Rule. Whether people love Matt Rule's ability to go on all airwaves and speak eloquently about all things Nebraska football and college football, this is where Emmett Johnson is going to benefit from that, because his rise to becoming a prolific running back this season it didn't get a whole lot of attention until the last few weeks. And they've got this, faux Heisman campaign, which, okay, good on him. Nebraska hasn't had an opportunity to do that in a long time. But Matt Rule has the opportunity with all of the platforms that he is on. And people listen to Matt Rule. He's the most eloquent college football coach out there. And if he starts talking about Emmett Johnson, those who have put pen to paper to do all the voting on these All-America teams, that's going to be his best opportunity. Now, he's got to play well at Penn State. He's got to play well against Iowa. He's had an All-America season, but the best promoter for Emmett Johnson is going to be all of the platforms that Matt Rule is on. Otherwise, it's still going to be somewhat obscure. If you go back when Nebraska was running the option and had Mike Rozier and Amon Green and all those, it was just a foregone conclusion at the beginning of the season, well, Nebraska's probably going to have a first or second team running back. So we'll just wait to see who that is. Yeah. Nebraska's been in such a wasteland of running backs over the last 2 decades that it's going to take a promoter like Rule to put Emmett Johnson's name out in the forefront of college football where it belongs.
Yeah, it's working. Yeah.
Rule is smart. He was feeling himself on Monday, and he's always recruiting. You know, he's always sending the brand out there. He wouldn't do what he did if Emmett wasn't a really good person. He would promote him, but you could tell the genuine connection. And remember, they had to act pretty quickly when Emmett went into the portal because they were surprised. They were like, "Excuse me," and how quickly they reacted to, let Emmett ask some questions and define what his role would be, how much they wanted him, clear up any confusion, any people that were giving him wrong information. So I think, Rule is smart because it can benefit Nebraska in a lot of different ways. If you look at the development of Emmett, do you say, hey, that's what we can do to running backs here? Or you say, hey, we can get a guy out of the league. Nebraska will have resources, but they need stories to tell about not just paying guys and they get here, of guys that get here and they get to the NFL. So what are they going to have? They're going to have a chance to have 3 NFL draft picks, possibly. Emmett, Sierra Wright, and Spindler maybe would be 3 guys. And oh, by the way, 2 of them are portal guys. Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I think 4 would be really, really good. But I'm okay for them promoting Emmett and sending him off to the NFL.
Yeah. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. He's gone for sure, though. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, Mark. I think it's smart for him to go to the NFL. I'm operating like he's gone, because then if he comes back, it's a nice surprise to have. I just think his stock may never be higher. And you know what? If you're looking, and is he going to be the focal point as much of the offense next year if the offense changes a little bit? I mean, I think I ride this year out and I say, hey, thank you to Nebraska. Nebraska says thank you to you, and they go and try and find the next Emmett.
I think
now they got a running back in the NFL.
I think the only X factor here is that'll depend a lot on his evaluation grade. Then I think some of his pass pro pickup is going to hurt him, as we've seen, and that's important in the NFL. I think he's slated to be a good NFL back. Not sure he's slated to be a star or anything like that. So I don't know if he's going to have a huge evaluation. But the X factor is that you can pay guys now. But I think if this is pre-NIL era, for sure he's gone, and it's not even a question. But now, if it's like a difference between, okay, you get $5 million guaranteed in the NFL, or you come back here and you're the guy for 2 or for 1.5 or something like that. I don't know.
I think
you know what I mean, though.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There is the money. There is the guarantee in college compared to the NFL. But if you're looking at Nebraska's roster, are you going to devote that much money to a running back?
Based on what
you're gonna have to pay somebody. What's the number? Because
you're probably at $1 million for a back, no matter what.
Here's the question, though. As you look at roster evaluation, the 2 things that you look at: A, do you feel confident in another step from Dylan Raiola in that he won't need to rely on the running attack as much next year? Which if he wins the fans, that's a lot. Or then the other factor is if TJ Lateef wins the job, do you trust that a running quarterback element out of the backfield paired with the guy like Mosey is good enough, and the money can be used elsewhere? I think Gary makes a great point. The other factor to note with this, which is going to be interesting this offseason, is that like a 4th or a 5th round grade on Emmett Johnson feels rough, but that's actually a solid grade for a running back in the draft. How does that strike a guy like Emmett to say, hey, a 4th or a 5th round pick in the NFL for a running back? That's solid. That's where NFL teams love to pick up their running backs. That's a guy that if you're a 4th or 5th round guy, you're getting snaps next year.
But you're probably not getting paid big. You're not getting a big bag in the 4th or 5th or 6th round.
But guys, think about this, because you have to look at a lot of different elements. So he'll be 23 next year. So if you're 23 on a college campus with another 150, 170, 200 carries on your body, how does the NFL look at you when you'd be playing as a 24-year-old in your rookie season?
Well,
Yeah.
your value starts to depreciate because of the touches, the mileage, the age.
Yeah.
And then
You know,
that knocks your pay scale down.
Here's the thing about the end of this season with 2 games to go. And it's, like this is the last week that Nebraska coaches can be out recruiting, trying to, finish up the 26 class. And that portal window is coming quick. There are some key decisions. January 2nd will be here before you know it. And more than likely, Nebraska's playing in a bowl game on December 30th or December 31st. So you could have guys that are playing in the bowl game that already know that they're in the portal in a couple of days. But, you're going to have to figure out your quarterback position. That's January 2nd is looming. And, I think Emmett's decision will come pretty quickly after the year, to be fair to both sides, because Nebraska's going to have to find a running back. And maybe even if Emmett is here, they're going to have to go find a running back. But there's more of a sense of urgency if Emmett is gone to go get Darius Taylor, or, hey, Jordan Seaton at Colorado, would you like to come block for him? Hey, Ben Bramer at Iowa State, would you like to come back home? Those kind of things.
Are we done with Jamarian Parker, or what's going on here? What about Jamarian?
Yeah,
that running back room is a work
He's really
in
good on
progress.
CFP.
Well, hey, I say, if I'm Emmett Johnson, I say, hey, thank you, Mr. Parker, because you got here and haven't been on the field. You were supposed to take some of my carries away. Okay.
Yeah.
And so y'all in that running back room, thank you for not being as good as advertised.
well, Nebraska's running back for the future is Isaiah Mosey. I like what I've seen from him in a true freshman year. I think he's got to take a leap, and we'll see what the Barthel development looks like. But that's I think you obviously bring in a portal guy, but I think Mosey's the guy for next year, splitting carries and then being a workhorse in 2-3 years.
I think he's your gadget. I think he's your gadget guy. I think he's your motion guy. I think he's. I'm not. I don't think he's your every down back guy.
I think he's your gadget guy for now.
I think
you're mesmerizing me that you have forgotten about Ja Rule coming to Nebraska next year.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you very much. Well, the one thing about Mosey is, so I think there are still times where he looks like a wide receiver running the football.
Yeah.
He has curious on him, like in the spring, the next step of development. Do you trust the running back coach to develop that room? Mosey and Nelson played quite a bit Saturday night at the Rose Bowl, and they are your, 2A, 2B. I don't know about Parker. I was really high on Parker. If he was in the portal, would it surprise you?
No.
But I would feel like, man, come on. I'd like to at least see in the spring. But here's the thing, guys, on decisions. Now that they just have one portal, you're going to probably have some guys that make decisions they shouldn't be making. Okay, instead of being able to go through spring healthy and see where they're at, they're going to have to decide maybe a year of not playing football. Oh, I got no path. I'm in the portal, because you only have that one window between January 2nd and the 16th, because I don't think Nebraska is going to fire Rule, or Rule is going to leave.
Can I ask you the question, Gary? As we kind of preview this December transfer portal window, set the expectation for me, because we've had this chat both yesterday and today with the young talent, with some of the portal additions you brought in last year that still have eligibility. They have a decision to make. I'm talking your guys like Pritchett and Andrew Marshall that could come back next year, could go off to the draft. Is it playoff or bust next year? Is that how Nebraska needs to approach their portal acquisitions this offseason?
I think I heard you guys talking about that. I think the head coach told you everything you need to know about next year. If he says that out loud, he has raised the ceiling of expectations. And why shouldn't they be that way? You'd be into year number 4. You have 91 underclassmen. So you didn't load up on your high school recruiting class. And people will look at Nebraska's high school class and they'll go, because I think it's currently 17th, but they just don't have very many because they don't have a lot of spots. And you're looking at 27 when you have a chance to have a top 5 class with a lot of players in it. You mentioned that you have money. So that's not an excuse. Like, hey, why did you lose an offensive tackle? Why did you lose a running back to Miami? Well, you also have a coach that's now got to go, okay, it's okay to spend money. We have money. We got to spend money. But in the past, I was more reward and retention. I actually think it's a fascinating fast forward to the next 6 weeks is there are some guys on this roster that I think you need to reward and retain. that you don't want to be surprised by a current player that you've developed and you're thinking, man, he's going to have a role in 26. All of a sudden you get a phone call that he's in the portal and you're like, whoa, why is he going to Ole Miss? That's a guy we wanted to develop. So they got to sift through a lot of different things, but Nebraska's resources, because of the leverage that Rule had with the Penn State opening, I think it gives Nebraska a chance to be a player, but they've got to be able to haul those guys in, because think about this. When the portal opens and people are spending cash, you're going to have some big boys that got big suitcases that are out there as well, because they're going to have new head coaches that don't have a chance to put a high school class together. So Penn State, Florida, LSU are all out there. There's going to be a lot of competition for guys that you would look at and go are game changers. Is Nebraska's ability with their resources able to get game changers or supplemental guys to add to the depth of guys they already have on this roster?
Well, and what's the step that happens with the guys you've been developing? What's the step look like for that defensive line that I think we all like, but know they're young and know their best trait, at least right now in their football life, isn't stopping the run. They're not consistent with it. So how does that move forward? Who do you keep? Who do you have to fight to keep on that group of defensive linemen? You've gone portal. You've retained Keona. You went and got Winery. This Van Poppel Pop. Eventually, you got Gabe Moore, right? I mean, those are the four guys that's a nice core, right? But you need to go get a space heater at nose guard, brother.
Don't forget about Mr. West Fargo.
Oh, that's
He's
right.
coming.
That's Shock. He's money. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a good group you have that played early.
Well, we started off the show too talking about Nebraska's portal hits and who is maybe the top portal hit, and Andrew Marshall's up there and Isaiah Hunter. There's a lot to pick from. I think part of Nebraska's pitch right now for the portal is you look at the guys who have left and how have they done, and look at the guys who have arrived and how have they done. I mean, you can do this A/B comparison now, where I'm not saying that it means that it'll be this way forever, but right now you got a little lightning in a bottle of just say pretty much everybody that's left hasn't done that well. Pretty much everybody that's arrived has. Right? It's a good pitch as you're heading into the portal and you're trying to convince guys who have plenty of options, right? Plenty of options.
Some work shown, don't you?
If you are a mid to upper tier O-line or D lineman, you can command top dollar, right? And so you have plenty of options. And it's Nebraska's track record right now is really good. Really, really good. And so I wonder if Nebraska too, with the newfound money that Matt Rule has, can retain a lot better than maybe they have in the past, because guys see it. They're just like, you know what? If I leave here, there ain't no guarantee.
Well,
I stay here. I'm in good shape.
I think he was sending his message to guys who were thinking about going into the portal. I'm
pretty
not
good
sure
here, dude.
I'm not sure he was talking to his team, because I think Nebraska is going to have a lot more exits than they've had in the past. I think there's going to be sticker shock on that. They've got 91 young players in the program. I think when Matt Rule was talking about money, he was talking to anybody out there who's contemplating, and especially at programs like Auburn, Virginia Tech, Penn State, all of these high-level programs that were supposed to have all these promising seasons where guys are going to exodus. And he's saying, you are 4 and 5 stars and you went to these SEC and Big Ten schools. I got the bag for you if you want to come here right now and we're established. Because look at these programs that are such hot, that have been above Nebraska, that are in coaches searches right now. Penn State, that coaching search is going nowhere. James Franklin's going to end up at Virginia Tech, who's not going to have the resources that he had at Penn State to rebuild that program. Florida's off. LSU's going to be off. Auburn's going to be off. There's all these major programs are going to be rebuilding while Nebraska is going to be giving the bag out and reloading. So I think he was talking to portal transfers very clearly last Monday when he said, I got money for you. Come on in.
I hope he has a lot of money, because they need a tackle. They need an offensive tackle. That's my number one priority outside of the program, is to go find a tackle where you could move Gatula to guard. And, you've been really good on the interior offensive line. If you could add a stellar all-conference type tackle that has played high-level football somewhere else and now wants a new start somewhere, I think you gotta get a tackle. I think you gotta hit a home run with a tackle that is a tackle. Because remember, you got a 4-star that's coming as a freshman who has some of the looks of, man, could he actually put his hand in the dirt and play football next fall and Puma, excuse me. But I think I think that's my number one priority is I got to go find an offensive tackle, a legit offensive tackle that isn't going to have to be a buy-in guy and it takes him until the middle of the year for things to click. He's got to be a buy-in guy and things are clicking in February when he's on campus.
I do find it interesting that you mentioned Jordan Seaton earlier because that is a guy that fits that bill. But Nebraska was close on a guy like that last offseason with Isaiah World. He went off to Oregon. Oregon outbid you. That was Phil Knight open up the checkbook.
I don't think Nebraska got killed on the bid. I think Nebraska got beat because Oregon's playing in the playoff.
And they have NFL guys, you know.
Repeatedly.
I mean, guys like money, but they also like to go to the NFL and make more money.
Go win. Sharpie,
it's the part of this conversation as well of what Nebraska is going to do with their roster and what they can add to it is like we're about to find out the true role of a guy like Pat Stewart, you know, who got here late. You know, Nebraska's basically all season been kind of, you know, self-scouting their roster. There'll be some guys that'll be intimated that it's time to move on, you know. But I think at the top, the first one, and these, I think once Black Friday hits, you know, and you start to look at maybe where Nebraska is rumored to make offers, or where they're pursuing. Like you look at now, they were very heavy this week with some junior college offers. So you're starting to look at how Nebraska looks at their roster for 26 and areas that they need to get a fix to. I think once you figure out what you're doing with your quarterback, then everything else will take care of itself.
Sharpie, you got a lock for the weekend for me here? What's your college football must?
Or is it Nebraska basketball in the Pentagon against Oklahoma?
Hey, Nebraska, I know a lot of people that are going up there, and it's a great place. It's a really unique venue. And when Nebraska plays up there, it is, almost 95% Nebraska. How about Nebraska could be 4-0, and Ken Palm has them being 8-0 before they play Wisconsin at home on the 10th of December.
Just continuing on the nation's longest win streak in college basketball.
How do we
Nicely done.
I'm interested to watch Jamarcus Lawrence as he's pretty much point, right? I mean, I know they don't really run a true point all the time. But Gary, you see it up close all the time calling college basketball. When you have what do you think Jamarcus Lawrence runs in the 40? Right? That dude's fast.
Yeah.
So
what do you think Braden Frager's vertical is?
Well, but Jamarcus's ability to get up the floor in a freaking hurry is a game changer for that offense. Changer for that offense, especially a guy that's crafty and he's not interested in. He doesn't care if he fills it up. This dude, he ain't trying to get 20, 25, trying to get his all the time. He's happy with distributing. He hasn't been turning it over. I just love the idea of him outlet to Lawrence. He takes 2 strides. He's already at the key. And then you got a bunch of 3-point shooters coming behind him. Like, I like that look a lot for Nebraska.
I like that Rink Mast is healthy. Yes. I think Rink Mast is number one.
Yeah.
I think Rink Mast is number one on every opposing coach's scouting report on
100%.
He's a problem to deal with, and we've got to be able to handle him on both ends of the floor. I love watching Rink back healthy and what he does to facilitate the offense, to get involved in the offense. And then he has a presence on defense. But offensively, that's the thing they were missing last year. You know, they got more shooters on the roster, but they have a guy that can pass the ball like that and do all the other like little things. Mm-hmm. I enjoy watching Rink Mast play, and I'm glad that he's healthy.
So you got him in the half court, and you got Jamarcus in transition, which to me is like, okay, so you kind of got both pieces there. And then defensively, Hoiberg and Jamarcus at the top, guarding. Like, you'll take that too. I don't know. I think Nebraska's got some pieces this year.
Important question from the Snitley boys. Is there a bar in Sioux Falls that won't cut us off?
You know what? There's a couple of really nice places. So I was just there last week, stayed in a new area right next to the falls called the Steel Market. There's a couple of really nice places there. There is right across the street from the Pentagon, there is a gigantic sports bar. So that's a good spot to go. And you know what? Stop by the Fleet Farm. And you know what? Also go to the AAA Top Golf that is right there. Good Shots or whatever the hell it's called.
It was always Granite City for the Schmidt family when they would come visit me up at Dakota State.
That sounds so South Dakota.
Well, I'm just saying. I know it doesn't, but
You gotta go local, bro.
That was it. That's the only reason Dad had come
was
see
it
me.
the Pizza Ranch wasn't taking reservations?
we have not dove into the Pizza Ranch. That's a good take.
Don't.
But
Have you guys ever looked into the history of Pizza Ranch and their ownership?
Oh my God.
no,
Dude,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
ruin it for
are we
me.
going to get sued?
Oh,
They have
the Pizza Ranch
They have
is
the
fine.
best ice cream.
Their owner has some interesting things on his ledger.
What's okay? Such as
Hey, tell me you're from
Google me.
Iowa if you say that Pizza Ranch is the best pizza in your town.
or Casey's for crying out loud.
Like,
Reese-
I guess it's a weekend.
Casey's is slipping. You gotta, Mark, you live here in Omaha. You gotta go to
Yeah.
the Casey's in Omaha. Jesus. It's like, first of all, it's turned into a casino. I walk in the door and people are playing
Yeah.
video poker and stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's like crap all over the floor, like people don't know how to do math behind the counter. Man, the Casey's in Omaha are on the struggle bus, but maybe they've gone all in on being a casino.
Brother, I have fallen in love with Casey's in Lincoln anyway, because of Elijah's when we stop on road trips, it's Elijah's points, right? You got your Casey's.
Oh,
But the price point for their Zens are incredible. I mean, I'm the happiest guy in America. For what I'd spend in one sitting for the old Skull Choice, I'm able to buy about 3 logs, man, for Zen. It's awesome.
But can we say that Casey's Pizza is not? I mean, it's almost like a popular thing to talk about. Oh, Casey's Pizza, it's not that good. It's not.
We're a
people like-
Lazari's
people like the-
household
I'm
here.
okay with it.
Yeah,
People
It's-
like
it's
the
okay.
breakfast pizza, Mark. They do like
It's
and
okay.
the Casey's pizza is fine. The breakfast pizza, people will die on that hill.
yeah. It's like fine. That's my point. It's fine, but it's not like settle down.
I'll never
To bring
forget
it back to high
Mark-
school football, it's the Pizza Hut in the town of 3,000 that you'd always
Oh,
go
those-
to if you're
Those
right.
red cups.
Yes, you go to Pizza Hut
Yeah.
and you see your cousin play ball, and it's a town of 2,500, but they've got the Pizza Hut.
Yeah, and then
With
you get your player of the game.
with the Coca-Cola embossed on the side of the red cup. And
Yep.
so Pepsi.
And you can get
Or
the mini,
RC.
And
You
the
get
red
the mini-
tablecloth.
the mini Big 8 tournament ball.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah, do you know what we're talking about with Pizza Hut?
it's old, so it's early in my childhood, but yes.
Okay, good.
Back when
Hey, I
it
got- hey.
looked like the little logo.
I don't know if you guys are
Multicolored
watching.
chandeliers.
I don't know if you guys are watching Game Day, but they have Jeremiah Love on the field, mic'd up, and he's talking to the Game Day crew. I'm surprised, and I'm not watching the Fox pregame show. I thought Emmett Johnson might pop up on one of these shows today.
Ah.
Hmm.
Huh.
He might be at the
Insider
Pentagon.
tip.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, what happens let's say Emmett comes back and the 2 quarterbacks come back? What if Emmett says to Dylan, "Can TJ go on our high school basketball tour?" Is that going to be complicated?
That would end the high school basketball tour.
What if it's a little love triangle with TJ, Raiola, and Emmett?
Easy. Or
Wow.
TJ goes on his own.
We got Tubby,
Hey.
Tiffy, and I don't know. We got the other one.
Hey.
DJ.
Like,
If we're having a discussion 2 weeks from today at 9-3, the Nebraska just finished up a 9-3 campaign. That's a very interesting conversation at quarterback.
Oh, big
by the
time.
way, none of us are perfect on our picks right now. I have our picks. Do you guys want to see those real quick before we sign off?
Wow.
Remember our
sure.
picks about how well we've done?
Better than talking about the history of the Pizza Ranch co-founder.
Hey, I just Googled that.
Yeah, did you not know that? Crazy.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Spill the tea. What? I don't want to Google.
I still like the ice cream. I think the ice cream and the dessert pizza there is pretty good.
So basically, this is years ago now. I think he's still in jail. He was
Pizza Ranch guy.
forcing Pizza Ranch employees to donate semen as part of
Okay.
yearly
All right,
release.
Jesus.
Let's take a look.
You asked for it, so
He was
Right.
forcing them to wait. Why?
It was like part of like their yearly review. He told them they had to as part of like their yearly employee review. So yeah, he's now in jail.
Okay.
What?
Getting his own donation.
Anyway,
stay away from the Alfredo pizza at Pizza Ranch.
They do have some unique.
Apparently,
They do have some unique flavors. I will say that.
All right. How about that record? How about them Bears?
No, hey, one quick thing here on pizza. You know this? I don't know if you guys realize this, but you know the Godfather's guy retired?
You mean like the pitch man?
Yeah, the original Godfather's has retired.
Okay.
So they haven't.
The pitch man, the guy that's like the gangster guy.
Yeah, he lives here in Omaha.
Yeah.
But I noticed the voice is different, and so I reached out to him. And I was like, "Yeah, he's retired."
Okay.
This wasn't like a Papa John's retirement, yeah.
No. He's a Jesus. He is a great person. He just is. He's been doing it forever, and it was time to retire. I mean, he's in that character everywhere I saw him. He was in that character. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, how bad is the ledger right now?
Well, let's see. We're through. Let's start with Bill here. We'll go down the list of so far. Bill had. Oh man, I can't even see the total because I got a window covering it up. But it looks like Bill had him at 9 wins right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Bill, pretty good. What do you have to say for yourself on that?
I'm a little disappointed in the Michigan performance. I did not think Nebraska could beat USC. I got the loss at Penn State, and
Bill's 8-2 on his picks. He's only missed Minnesota and Michigan.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Like honestly, like we haven't done too bad collectively here. All right, Brandon, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He had 7 wins. He had Michigan. Did not pick Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Did not pick USC, so pretty good there. So he's like what 9-1 in his picks.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad. Chris, what did you have us at here?
I have us at 9-3. I said we lose to Nebraska, loses to Minnesota, they lose to UCLA, they lose to Penn State.
So you flipped. Well, you didn't get Michigan right.
I didn't get SC right.
So 8-2.
I'm 7-3.
7-3, not bad. Gary, where are you at? Gary has Nebraska losing out. At least preseason Gary had Nebraska losing out.
And then Penn State went upside down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How about Mark at 9-1?
Yep, 9-1. I missed the obviously missed USC. That was it. So nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect in here, but pretty good showing, guys. Like,
okay. So let's do this.
Nobody is perfect, Mark. That's a great way.
Hey, so let's do this little experiment with the last 2 games. Okay, let's do this experiment with the 3 teams playing in the last 2 games. Nebraska, Iowa, Penn State. Penn State is not what we thought they would be when we were doing those picks.
Oh, for the conference.
Nebraska is probably where we thought they would be.
Yeah.
And then Iowa is maybe just a shade better than I thought they would be.
They are who I thought they were. They're the same every year.
No, actually I'm going to change that. I think Iowa is not what I thought they would be because there are 2 things about Iowa that don't look Iowish. Their special teams are not special, and they make more mistakes. Now, their offense is better, but I think where they have made their hay, now they're still really good defensively. And that's why I can't wait to see Latif go against a Jim Knowles defense and a Phil Parker defense to finish the year.
Yeah.
But they've made like simple mistakes, like you saw that against Oregon, and their special teams. I mean, Nebraska's special teams are better than Iowa's special teams this year.
Well, Iowa's
got
killed him against Oregon, the long snapper.
Iowa's got 1 special player on special teams with Weechin, but other than that, I agree with you, Gary. They are pretty average on special teams this year.
Say Latif plays well, Nebraska splits, or God forbid wins both.
Well, why God forbid?
What do you do?
Oh Jesus! Take your 15 jersey off.
I'm just saying. What do you do? What do you do if you're Matt Rule at that point? And it's a guy that has clearly rallied a team, helped them close well. Offense looks good. Now UCLA, not a good defense, so it's grain of salt. right? And this could be
But
this
the
could
next two are going to
really
the next two.
easily.
Yeah.
Like if
why I
Nebraska craps the bed against Penn State and TJ looks like crap, this isn't even a discussion.
Hey,
but
great,
doesn't look like
great
he's going
scenario
to.
last Saturday. Yeah, great scenario last Saturday. That was a perfect start. But enjoy it. But don't come to any conclusions until you see the next two, because they have tape on him. And he also has more tape to watch of them. But he's got Jim Knowles and Phil Parker back-to-back weeks on that defense, and two defenses that are pretty good. I mean, that Iowa defense will be really, really good on Black Friday. And also now you're going to play in elements. You know, it's going to be cold in State College. It's looks like it's going to be 34 on Black Friday. You know, so let's give him a couple of games, and then when we wake up and we have this show in 2 weeks, let's have a discussion about TJ.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a great start. It's a great start to show you what you may like a lot about Nebraska's offense, or what makes Nebraska's offense more of a challenge for a defensive coordinator.
I will not make any bold predictions about the final 2 weeks. If you do go 2-0, I think the important question Roll has to ask is what does our offense look like next year without Emmett Johnson? And then you have to pick the right quarterback to operate that offense, and you're not going to make everybody happy. Half of Husker Nation is going to be pissed off no matter what you pick. So you're going to have to just pick right with what the offense looks like next year. The only bold prediction, it's not even a bold prediction, for the final 2 weeks of the season, is the final score of the Nebraska-Iowa game will be 13-10, and it will be won on a walk-off field goal.
Here's the best thing for TJ Lateef is that the best thing for Nebraska in the schedule is the bye week today. Because instead of playing UCLA and you ride that wave of momentum and you just carry it from Saturday into the next Saturday, they've had time to pause, really take a look at that film, really scout ahead to Penn State and Iowa, and establish a more firm foundation and base with what Lateef can do and what he will see in the next 2 weeks. If they had gone from UCLA and had a game this week, and it's just moving straight forward. But the fact that they have this week off and have been able to look at everything a little bit more clearly, I think benefits Lateef greatly going into the final two games.
He's also, he's going into the most tame State College environment that they've probably had in a decade. I'm not even kidding. Their fall break starts Friday, right? So students are likely gone. You can get into the building for $9. They're playing for nothing, even though it's senior day. Does that motivate them, or are they thinking about what might have been or could have been, and they're all depressed? Like a disinterested Penn State team in a not raucous environment. Like, he is getting a huge benefit.
Go Sparty today. I mean, I think you're discounting how raucous the Nebraska fans were at the Rose Bowl. That made it a little tough on the Nebraska quarterback, because it's like, whoa, are we playing in Lincoln? I think this is how I look at Nebraska's offense moving forward, is who gives you the best opportunity to control the middle of the field.
A guy that can run the football?
Where you give options, where the middle of the field, like it was Saturday night at the Rose Bowl, seems to be open more.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the way that you have to disguise a defense against to, I don't know. I would like to see him. I would also like to see him take some shots with TJ, and I think they'll expand it a little bit. I'd like to see, because he does have a good deep ball. I'd like to see if that is in their repertoire.
Yeah,
Sharpie, enjoy your college football, brother.
Hey, it's a good problem to have, guys, because 2 years ago, wasn't it this weekend where we were talking about Harburg, Purdy, and Sims playing against Maryland?
Yeah.
Yep. And now Nebraska. See, that's what happens when you prioritize the quarterback room now and down the road with your recruiting. Your gap between 1 and 2 is not that far. It should be a gap, but it's not like a crater that we're having these conversations. And I also say this: we wouldn't be having this kind of conversation if Dylan was doing Dylan things in year 2. But he has left the door open to have these conversations. I don't think it's a controversy. I think it's a conversation. But in 2 weeks, when we're all back together, let's see where we're at.
Sharpie, appreciate you, brother. Thank you much.
Why are we leaving, Schmidt? We got this is a great conversation going here.
We can keep going. Usually we hit the hour 45 mark, and everyone's ready to.
I'll say, this conversation sure beats the slate of college football we got in front of us today.
Yeah. Trying to avoid that. Avoid having to And
One more thing? Can Iowa in the rain at the Coliseum pull off an upset?
I think their matchup's
Yes.
better suited to beat USC.
Definitely.
They can win today.
They'll frustrate them.
I personally think no. USC is a different team at home. So maybe I'll stand alone in that one. The rain is the one complicating factor. If it was a clear sunny day in USC, in LA, I think USC probably beats them by 14. But it's not, so we shall see. I don't think that's a great matchup for Iowa, actually. I think Oregon is a slightly better matchup for them than USC is.
Does SC be undisciplined and screw up? Do they help Iowa? And that's the real question, because if that happens, Iowa wins today. Does Iowa have enough horses to run with USC? Absolutely not. So SC's got to be willing to be a participant here and helping Iowa hang around. Iowa's going to punch him in the face, and we'll see if USC responds.
I think Iowa kills him through the air, but we'll see.
Hey, USC could be scary, guys, moving forward. They're able to run the football, and I'm not just talking to finish up 25 if they get into the playoff, but if Lincoln Riley stays and they finish up strong, you look at their recruiting class, you look at they pulled the old okie dokie with the trick punt, and now they've kind of feeling themselves, and they've had a little fun on social media, clapping back at the Big Ten. USC could maybe finally arrive, if they finish and they get in the playoff this year, and you look at the talent they've accumulated, they get the number 1 recruiting class. Maybe Lincoln Riley has turned the corner at SC. But if they lose today, then they got to go play Oregon, who is, Oregon wants, that's a rival. I don't know. Things get very interesting. It's such that margin of error from week to week in this sport, where we have a referendum on every single game, makes this sport so great. That's why I know you got to have buys to rest the body. I was all excited at the beginning of the week that, hey, you know what? You got a little basketball this weekend. Pay attention to basketball week. I'm kind of bummed that there's no Nebraska football game to talk about today.
I know.
Yep.
I know. We'll gear up, get ready for State College, and also Iowa. Iron Horse.
We have the Sharpie versus Elijah Broncos Chiefs grudge match.
Oh, yes.
Tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Joe Sports Show.
Okay.
Yeah. Not feeling good. Not feeling good, Elijah. I mean, just take it easy on us. Please don't hurt Pat. Let us get in there and let Pat be healthy, and we'll just leave. And probably not.
That makes 2 of us.
Chiefs win by a field goal.
I think the Broncos probably win by 40. The Broncos are such a better team, a better coach. They got more talent.
Gary Narduzzi with us here on the average.
I'm sure that they'll run. I'm sure coming out of the tunnel walk, the Broncos will have Jokic. He'll lead them out, and the place will go nuts, and they'll forget about Elway. And
now Gary's motivating me on a Saturday morning.
I don't even know if Chris Jones, who needs to play better, I don't know if he'll even show up. He might stay back. I don't know if Taylor may have some a honey-do list for Travis. He may not make the trip today from Kansas City. I mean,
get ready to learn Nick Benito, buddy.
Sharpie, be good. Billy D, proud of Fairbury with us. Mark Kraynak, love you, brother. Elijah, appreciate you, and we'll talk tomorrow, Sunday live, 10:30, with the Average Joe Sports Show.
Wisconsin